If you would like to have your query letter critiqued, but you do not want to pay to have that happen, you can get it done for free. The caveat is it will be public out here on all of my socials. My name is Gina. I am an author, editor, publishing professional. I help you make your writing better. A couple of things up front. If you want to submit, the information on how to do so is in my bio. If you do not want to wait for the very long backlog, you just want some specific information on how to write a query letter, I have a series link down below that you can purchase. It's got 3.5 hours of content about how to go about doing this. There is a real live person on the other side of this query letter, so we are being constructive, not destructive. Even constructive criticism can be hard to hear, so I am being as kind as I can be throughout this, and I expect everybody else to do the same as well. And lastly, this person is pursuing traditional publication. They don't need you to come in and tell them to just self-publish, let them live their own lives. All right, all of that out of the way, let's dive in. I read that you are seeking X and hope you may find it in my novel. The 13th Realm answers the question, what if Wednesday Addams took the red pill? A lot of agents really hate rhetorical questions. They get just tons and tons and tons of, like, I have seen emails that come in and it's just like 12 rhetorical questions in a row. Like, they really hate rhetorical questions. When you've got something like this, though, you can rephrase it really easily. So instead, 13th Realm explores what would happen if Wednesday Addams took the red pill. So you just make it not a rhetorical question. You rephrase it as a hypothetical situation. Spell Addams correctly if you're going to use this character as the person that you're basing your story on, because people who are fans of Wednesday Addams, they know that that's not correct. Okay, let's keep going. YA slipstream fantasies complete at 94,000 words with an alternate final chapter providing for series potential. Maybe more information than we normally get, but this is totally fine. This tells us that you are okay with making it a standalone if that's what the publisher wants. This is all fine with the tiny little things that I've already said. 13th Realm follows Jade as she transforms from a dark, gloomy teen, impatient to graduate and get the hell out of Westridge, into the first of her kind of realm-bending hybrid and the only soul able to save the world in magical outer realms that encircle it. That tells me nothing. So this tells me that a teenager is going to grow up and grow into who she's going to be. That is inherent in a YA fantasy. So this right here, this is world building stuff. This doesn't tell me anything. You have just like used a paragraph to say that a teenager is going to grow up and become who she was going to be. When Jade's grandmother passes away, I want as many people as possible to focus up. Listen here. This word right here, when, that's usually the sign that you are starting in the right place. When something changes for this character, when something goes wrong, when something catastrophic has happened, when something out of the ordinary has occurred, that is where your story starts. Now, that's not going to be 100% of the time, and there are plenty of good query letters that don't start with when, but if you've got a whole bunch of stuff and then you dive into when something has happened, it's a really good indication that all this stuff up here didn't need to be in the query letter. This is where your story starts. When Jade's grandmother passes away, leaving clues and tools to Jade's disposal, she begins to question her own sanity. I assume Jade is questioning her sanity, but grammatically this is saying the grandmother questions her own sanity. Synchronicities pile up and culminate with something Jade can't dismiss. Graham comes back from the dead. Okay, that didn't go where I thought it was going to go. So this might be good. I'm not sure if this is all still backstory though. So if Grandma has come back from the dead, if that's the inciting incident, then we might rephrase all of this. Like, so when Jade's grandmother comes back from the dead is probably where the story actually starts, possibly. Not 100% sure. You're the one who knows where your story starts. If this is all backstory, then we need to reframe it. Jade learns to shift through multidimensional inner world and leap to the magical outer realm. She unearths information on the laws of the realm and the dynamic power of the 12 realm keys. That feels like world building. We shall see. While exploring outer realms, the truth of Graham's return is exposed. Aunt Celeste is not only trapped in her own mental prison here in the inner world, but also in the outer realms by a monster called Ingrid, and Graham needs help to free her. Sounds like this is Graham and Celeste's story. Like, so far Wednesday's kind of along for the ride. Like, this isn't her story. She's bouncing around like doing teenager shit and like not actually like contributing to the plot. Again, if this is all backstory and we're going to get to the fact that Jade's finally going to get on board with being the hero she was always meant to be, then this is all backstory and this doesn't need to be there. Jade's newly discovered realm warping powers are essential to rescue her aunt and save both the inner world and the outer realms. However, Ingrid won't go down without a fight. After all, he's been planning, wow, definitely thought Ingrid was a lady, has been planning his rise to power for nearly 500 years. He's not about to let a little girl get in his way. Okay, why now? If he's been doing this for 500 years, why now? What changed? This is actually like the catastrophe. That like all of this is backstory and setup and prep work, and it's got some like cool elements to it. So like while Jade's been bebopping around learning how to warp the realms, her grandmother comes back from the dead and discovers that her aunt is, or and tells Jade that her aunt is trapped in this like inner realm with a monster coming after them. Why now? What is causing the change now? Why is Jade the person that needs to be involved in this? After 500 years, why is it finally coming to a head? As Jade and her mismatched crew, where's the crew? We don't know who they are. We don't know, like, is that her aunt? Is that her grandmother? I'm not totally sure what the crew is, so we need to clarify that, or list who the crew is, whatever's going on here. Prepare for battle. Her inexperience becomes glaringly obvious, and the team starts to crumble. Ready or not, the time to strike is approaching, and Jade can't back down with the whole of humanity in the outer realms. Like, when did humanity become at stake? So we've got like a mental prison, inner world, outer realms. We're gonna rescue, save both of them. So this feels, I think, what I'm guessing is we've got backstory, 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 backstory. Inciting incident is actually somewhere in here, but we realized that the letter was getting really long, so we jumped forward to like, okay, and this is how it's all going to get fixed. Instead, we need to point the camera in a little bit of a different place, and we need to understand what is it Jade wants, save the world. That's kind of intrinsic to everybody, but we don't totally understand like why it's her or how she's going to do it, like how it is bebopping around the realms. How is that going to save the world? In fact, the only thing you really say about it here is that she's inexperienced and she can't do it. So what is it that she wants? Not super clear, not super connected here. What is standing in her way? She's inexperienced, but that's kind of comes with being a teenager. Like we don't really know what else. What is she willing to do to get it? Not listed here, not clear at all. And what happens if she fails? Like it, yeah, we're saving the world, so the world doesn't get saved. But like that doesn't feel personal. This does not tell us why Jade is the person to do all of this. It does not explain why this monster is coming after them now, why 500 years of preparation has finally come to a head, why Jade is the person to undo this problem. You're going to see this a lot in fantasy sci-fi stories in particular, because the people who write those stories really, really love all of the world building aspects. They really love the magic systems. They really love all of those pieces. And that stuff makes the book feel interesting and unique and fresh and all of those things. But we come to story and we finish story because of cool characters. If you want to just read about magic systems, you're not going to pick up a novel to do that. There are other ways to get that done. Novel publishing is about characters. It is about story. It is about growth. It is about change. So when your query letter is all about really cool world building pieces or really fun magic systems or all of the rules of science fiction, like when it's about all of these genre elements, what you are putting on display is, I know and understand my genre. That's great. That's good. That's not a story. That is not telling us why Jade is the person who needs to do this and why now. Because when you do all of this world building stuff in a query letter, it's a very, very brief document. It ends up feeling very muddled and kind of confusing on the page. And the big takeaway that most agents, they're going to skim over this and be like, okay, rhetorical question, okay, cool, magic stuff, and why does any of this matter? Like that's what the general feeling is going to be, and they are looking to be blown away, to be totally and completely intrigued. They want to fall in love with your story and not just be like, yeah, okay, good enough. You can't be good enough in the query inbox. You're up against hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other writers who are also good enough. The manuscript itself might be incredible. You have to tell us why your manuscript is more interesting than everybody else's, and you're going to have to do that through character and why this matters to this character right now.